They thought I wouldn't notice. They thought my land was just an empty shortcut for them to carve a public trail through. But when I woke up to see strangers walking across my ranch, using a trail they built without asking, I didn't yell, I didn't argue, and I didn't beg them to stop. I installed a gate, locked it, and started charging access fees. And that decision ignited the biggest fight my county has ever seen. My ranch sits outside a small rural town, set between rolling hills, a creek, and the kind of open space where silence actually means something. The land has been in my family for 3 generations. We keep to ourselves, neighbors on good terms, no drama, no nonsense. That peace is everything to me. So imagine my surprise when one morning I step outside with my coffee and see 3 hikers strolling across my pasture like it's a public park. Not my driveway, not a road, my actual fenced pasture, inside my land. I shouted, "Hey, you're on private property." One of the hikers waved like I was a park ranger. "We're on the trail, it's beautiful." Trail? There was no trail here. I walked down the hill and saw it, an actual carved path, maybe 4 feet wide, packed dirt, trimmed edges, almost professionally cut. It snaked across my land, went through a low gap in my fence where someone had cut the wire clean, and continued down toward the creek. I followed it, trying to stay calm, but the deeper I walked, the angrier I got. This wasn't a prank. This wasn't accidental. This was planned. Fresh footprints, bicycle tracks, dog prints, even wooden stakes with orange flags marking the route. I followed the trail out the far side of my property and discovered where it connected, a community park 2 miles away. So the city, or someone, had built a trail across my land without telling me. When I confronted the bikers who came through next, they said, "Oh yeah, this is the new Green Pathway Trail. It's all mapped online." Mapped online. I looked it up when I got home. Sure enough, a brand new community recreational trail with a path traced right across my private ranch, labeled Access Corridor 12. No mention of private ownership, no permission, no easement. Someone decided my property was public. I called the county. They told me the trail wasn't theirs. The city denied involvement. The Parks Department said the same. A local outdoor wellness committee said they were just volunteers following a proposed expansion plan. Meaning, they built it, without permission, without permits, without talking to the landowner. That night, I walked the trail with a flashlight. More hikers passed through. "Beautiful trail," one woman said cheerfully. "My land," I replied. "Oh," she said. "Well, the committee said it was open to everyone." That was the last straw. The next morning, at 6 a.m., I installed a steel ranch gate right across the trail, 12 feet wide, heavy, anchored into concrete. I hung a sign. Private property. Access fee, $10 per person. Simple, fair, cheaper than any park entrance fee. By noon, I had 30 people lined up at the gate arguing with me. "You can't block a public trail. It's illegal to charge. The committee said this land is open access. You don't own this. This is community land." I repeated one sentence. "Show me the easement paperwork." They never could. Most left angry. Some paid, grumbling but paying. By the end of day 1, I made $210. News traveled fast. By day 3, the committee leaders showed up, 5 people wearing matching shirts like some official team. They demanded I remove the obstruction. I handed them a typed letter quoting state trespassing law. They ignored it and tried walking around the gate. I stepped in and said, "Try it. I'll have the sheriff here in 5 minutes." They left furious. A week later, I received a cease and desist letter from the committee's lawyer. Not the county, not the city. A volunteer committee had hired a lawyer to threaten me on my own land. The letter claimed the trail was a recognized public access route and demanded I open it for free. I sent the letter to my attorney, who happened to specialize in land use. He laughed for a full minute. "There's no easement," he said. "They're trespassing, and they damaged your fence? That's civil liability." He drafted one response: "Open the trail legally or remove it entirely. Otherwise, we will pursue damages." Then things escalated. Hikers kept arriving and getting angry at the locked gate. The committee held a meeting about my obstruction. They encouraged people to keep using the trail to assert community rights. Some tried climbing the gate, some tried cutting around it. So I added cameras, signs, and motion-triggered floodlights. People started backing off. Then the committee tried the nuclear route. They petitioned the county to declare the trail a public easement due to established use. My attorney shut that down instantly. The county reviewed the situation and discovered the trail was built illegally, on multiple private properties, without permits, without environmental review, without owner consent. The county issued a removal order to the committee. They were furious. They tried to argue in a public meeting. They accused me of blocking nature access. They claimed the community has rights. Then one farmer stood up and said, "If he lets you keep that trail, you'll cut one through all our land." That turned the room silent. 2 weeks later, the county sheriff supervised volunteers removing the entire trail. The fence damage was repaired, the stakes and markers were pulled up, the path was filled and covered. But I wasn't done yet. My attorney filed a civil claim for damages to my fence, land alteration, and trespassing. The committee didn't want to fight. They settled out of court. I received $9,500. Nearly $10,000 because they built a trail where it didn't belong. And the funniest part? A few of the hikers who originally argued with me later wrote to ask if I'd ever consider opening a legit paid trail on my property. They said it was beautiful land worth exploring. So now I'm planning an official private access nature trail with entry fees, permits, insurance, and my rules. They tried to turn my land into a public path without asking. Now I control the path, and it pays me for real. They built the trail, I built the gate, and now I get paid for the land they tried to steal.